This is how to make the amigurumi octopus. What you'll be needing for this is some yarn. I think weight 6 yarn works the best with this project, and it also helps the octopus come out a nice size. All 3 of these are optional. These are stitch markers, but you can also substitute this for paper clips. Sewing needle, towards the end of the project, you will be needing it, but I think that it can be doable with just your hands. And these are plastic doll eyes for your octopus that I personally think that you can just cut a face out of felt and it will still look really cute. This is my crochet hook. I think this is 10 millimeters, but any crochet hook should be fine. And last but not least, you will be needing some plush yarn to stuff your octopus with. First, we're going to be making a magic ring. So by how to make a magic ring, I usually just make an X around my 2 fingers like so. Here's what it looks like from the back. Insert your crochet hook through the X facing down. Pull this yarn back, turn, and using this piece of yarn, pull through. And you've just created some sort of a circle. I'm going to repeat that one more time. But I do have separate tutorials on my page, so you can go check this out. We're going to make an X around our 2 fingers. Insert the crochet hook facing down. Pull this yarn back. Flip it like so. And pull back. And here is your circle. I just like to take this little piece of yarn out. We have a circle. This is our magic circle. So what you're going to do is you're going to start by crocheting 8 single crochet stitches in this magic circle. So incorporating this piece of string, we're going to crochet 1 single crochet, 1, and now this is where we can use our stitch marker and just place it in the first stitch just so that we don't have to always keep count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 'This one's a little tricky, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we can just pull this piece of string and this should tighten the circle. You can always go back and count by counting the stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8. Now we can take the stitch marker out. So from here we're going to do a double crochet stitch, which is basically we're doing 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. So we're going to insert our hook into the first stitch. Just do a regular single crochet stitch. We're going to place a marker here. on the stitch that we just did. And then again, in the same stitch that we just did, we're going to do another single crochet stitch. And that was your double crochet stitch. So now we're going to go on to the second stitch in the round, and we're going to just do the same thing. Single crochet 1, tighten it a little as you go, in the same hole, single crochet stitch again. And we're just going to do this repeatedly for the entire round. Now that you've finished and you've reached the red stitch marker, this indicates that you stopped this round. We're going to move on to the next round. So this round, or the next 3 rounds, is very simple. We're just going to be doing the same thing for all 3 rounds, which is we're just going to single crochet all around. So we're going to start just by single crochet. We're going to mark the stitch that we just did with our stitch marker. And now we're just going to single crochet all around. So this is not double crochet stitching. We're not single crocheting in 2 in 1 stitch. We're just going around. So we just finished 1 round. So we've just finished all 3 rounds of single crochet, and by now, if you haven't already, you can flip your octopus around so that the side with the string attached to it from the magic circle is inside, because we don't want to see it on the outside. Here's what it should look like. And now we're going to be making the tentacles, which is actually pretty hard to do, so I'm gonna try and explain this the best I can. So we're going to be doing a combination of stitches this entire round. So if you guys haven't noticed already, what in a stitch there's almost like 2 lines, 2 crosses, whatever you want to call it, of yarn. There's one in the front, this one, and there's one in the back. And if you stretch it, you can really tell. It looks like an equal sign, but the one closest to you, or the one on the outside, is called the front loop, and the one next to it but towards the inside is the back loop. So in this entire round, we're only going to be crocheting in the front loops. So in the front loop, we're going to be doing a slip stitch. A slip stitch is where you take your hook, you insert it in the front loop, yarn over, but instead of yarning over again, we're just going to, that was a horrible example, we're going to just bring it back again. So we're not crossing or doing anything that's a simple slip stitch. I'm gonna do that again. We're gonna insert our hook, grab the yarn, yarning over, and we're just going to pull it through. After you've done that, take a stitch marker and just mark the stitch that you just did. Honestly, I have no idea where I'm supposed to be, but I'm just going to just mark it here. And then before you go into your second stitch, take another stitch marker. Take another stitch marker and mark the back loop of that stitch. So you should have 2 stitch markers in. Okay, now we're going to continue on. After doing your slip stitch, we're going to be doing a combination. So we're going to single crochet stitch. Again, this is only in the front loop, your classic single crochet stitch. And then we're going to do a half double crochet stitch. This is how to do a half double crochet stitch. So first you're going to yarn over and then insert your hook inside the hole, yarn over again, pull it out. You should have 3 stitches on your hook. From here, you're going to just yarn over again and pull through all 3. That's a half double crochet stitch. I'm going to do that one more time, but you'll see it more as we go on. We're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the hole, yarn over again. You should have 3 stitches on your hook. Yarn over one more time and pull through all 3. After doing this, in the same stitch again, you're just going to do a regular single crochet stitch. So the pattern in one stitch goes single crochet stitch, half double crochet stitch, and single stitch again. Now we can finally move on to the next stitch in the row. We're going to single crochet stitch. Oh, sorry, not single crochet stitch, we're going to do a slip stitch. So here we are going to do, it's really hard to find the stitches that come right after all of this, but just stretch your piece out and just try to find it. So here we're going to do a slip stitch. We're going to insert our hook, pull through, and then pull through again, slip stitch. Now we're done with this. Next stitch, we're going to do the same exact thing we did. So single crochet stitch, half double crochet stitch, and then single crochet stitch again. And now hopefully you can see like the little wave patterns. So we have created 2 tentacles. And it's basically just these 2 stitches this entire round. So after doing this combination, we're going to go in for another slip stitch in the next stitch. Slip stitch. We move on to the next stitch and do the same combination. Single crochet stitch, half double crochet stitch, and single crochet stitch again. Next stitch, slip stitch, the next stitch is the whole combination again. And hopefully you guys are getting the pattern now. But yes, that is all there is to it to this round. And I will meet you after I'm done with this round. Okay, so we are 2 stitches away from finishing this round. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tentacles, and I'm about to make my last one. But I'm stopping now because I'm 2 stitches away from my stitch marker. And so I'm going to go ahead and do these with you. So I'm going to just do a slip stitch, but then before I do my half double crochet stitch and the whole combination thing, I'm going to take my 3rd stitch marker and I'm just going to place it in the back loop of this stitch. So here's how it should look like. And then I will proceed to do my whole combination. So now we are done. We're going to now, we can take this red stitch marker out. This is not the one that you just put in. This is the one that we put at the beginning. So we can take this out. And now this is an even harder part. So this entire round, we've only been crocheting in the front loops, meaning the back loops have been untouched. And you can sort of see that there is a ring around, and basically this is all the back loops. So we're going to be crocheting in these back loops, and we're going to be doing some decreasing stitches. So decreasing stitches is when you take 2 stitches and you're basically just stitching those 2 together. So we're going to make this whole thing smaller. Ignoring the purple stitch marker, we're going to go back into our blue stitch marker, insert our hook in. You are now in the back loop. Oh wait, I'm gonna move the yarn to a more comfortable place. But we're going to insert our hook into the blue stitch marker, back loop stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then into the next back loop stitch, we're going to insert our hook again, yarn over. You should have 3 stitches on your hook, and you're going to just pull through all 3. And that was the decreasing stitch. You can now take your blue stitch marker out because we've already identified where we're going to start. It is pretty hard to figure out where the back loops are, but if you just move the tentacles out of the way, I would say just try to stick your hook in anywhere, and if it's really easy to get in, that means you found the back loop. But otherwise, it's okay if you just don't put it in the right one. I don't think it should make that much of a difference. So that was our first decrease stitch. And now we're going to just go ahead and do that this entire round. So we're going to insert our hook into the next back loop, yarn over. You should have 2 stitches. Find the next back loop stitch, insert your hook again, and then finally yarn through all 3. And tighten as you go. Next, yarn over again, and pull through all 3. So now we are on the last one, so I'm going to insert my hook into the back stitch, back loop stitch, and the last stitch should be where you placed your purple marker. So we're going to just insert my hook into where I left the purple marker and just pull through all three. And now we can take this purple thing out. And now it should look like this. We've basically closed our entire octopus. And now comes the fun part. We can add eyes. If you're going to be adding doll eyes, that is, now is the time you should do it. If you're going to be making felt eyes and just hot gluing it on the octopus, that is totally fine, but that can be done at the end. So I'm going to just insert my eyes. I'm just going to position it and see where I like it. I think I like it here. So now we're gonna take the eye backings and just push it against the eye to secure it. And now our eyes are in. Now we can also add the plush yarn. We're just going to start stuffing our piece. That seems like it's enough. So now we're just going to be closing our piece. From where your hook is right now, just pull your hook up and you should see the yarn just try and follow. Put it at around any length which you think is enough, and you can take your hook out and just cut the top. And you can just pull yarn out. You should be left with the tail. We're going to be using this tail to just sew the remaining left. This is the part where I think that it's completely optional to have this, because I think if you really did try, you should be able to use your hands for this, because I know not everyone has a plush needle, plush yarn, but I'm going to be using the plush needle just to show you guys how to do it in a more precise way. So you're just going to push your yarn through the needle. You're going to then identify where you're going to start. You should have 8, so I'm just going to count back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm starting here. We're going to insert our hook and just pull through. And we're going to just pull as we go. That was the first one. This looks like a mess, but second one. We're just going to pull through and make sure to just pull it a little as you go. and you're done. So we've completely closed the octopus up. I'm gonna just go ahead and tie a knot at the end just to secure it, although it should be secure, so this part is also optional. I just tied a knot, and now we're going to get rid of this tail. So how to get rid of this tail? You can use a plush needle, which would be really like a lot easier to do, but for the people in case don't have one, I'm going to try demonstrating it with my crochet hook. It should work, but we're gonna just start by pushing the knot in the center-ish, and from a random place, just stick your hook in. Try to find where you just inserted your knot. Now that you have it, you can yarn over, pull through, and just take the yarn with you. Just flop it out again. All stuffing came out. And now your yarn should be in a totally different place. From here, you can just cut your yarn off and just stuff it in so it looks nicer. And that is your finished amigurumi octopus. Thank you so much for watching.